Echo Knight is a first-person mystery adventure game from developer From Software, released in 1998, to a near-unanimous shrugging of shoulders, with GameSpot awarding it a 4.2 for having a muddled story and ugly graphics. Either way, From Software's first departure from first-person action was not met with a lot of praise, outside of a pretty forgiving write-up from IGN. They would also go on to include one of its sequels in a list of the scariest games you've never played. It's one of those articles that serve as a direct challenge to you, because it's not saying, hey, you might not have heard of these games, and you should check them out. No, it's telling you, you have not played these. So, of course, you click it almost entirely with the intention of proving this guy wrong, even though it's a 5-year-old article and this guy probably doesn't even remember writing it, and the knowledge that this one guy doesn't know as much as you won't do much to repair the stubborn weakness inside you that needed to prove that in the first place. Having said that, I have played all these, and this guy can get fucking thrown in the trash. Around 2015, Echo Knight was made available digitally on the PS4. That's not how I played it though. I like to do things the old-fashioned way, with a good old, trusty, standby, 100% legitimate Sony-branded PlayStation controller. Wait. There you go. Yeah, listen, I'd love to play this on a PlayStation and capture the footage from my TV to PC and go through the nightmare of wires to accomplish that. I would love that. But if someone offers the option to just put the goddamn game in my computer and have it work just fine...
Do you think I got time for that shit? I'm not gonna pay for this game again. Yeah, that's right, I recorded this way later and on a much shittier mic. What are you gonna do about it? I'm in charge of...
I can't be dealing with all kinds of wires and trying to get them into things that... gotta be connected to shit with stuff. It's odd looking at the reviews from Echo Knight's launch. There is a pretty split opinion on its story. Critics either found it engaging or confusing and unclear. Either way, unlike From Software's previous projects, Echo Knight, being a game with no combat, has its story right up front, center stage. It's why we're here. This game opens with Richard Osmond receiving a letter from his estranged father containing only a key. Right after, the phone rings and it's the police. They inform him that his father's house has just been burned down, and they need to ask him some questions. I don't know what part of police protocol this is, but we cut to a police officer driving Richard over to his father's secluded woodland home to look around for clues to his whereabouts. This is the last semblance of linear storytelling because after a brief look around, Richard finds a secret passage behind a clock, thanks to the key that was mailed to him. In the passage, he finds a book, and upon touching it, is transported through space and time onto a train. After bumping into some suspicious characters, he finds the train conductor knocked unconscious, and the keys to the other train cars stolen. Climbing on top of one of the cars, he eavesdrops on a confrontation between two of the passengers he saw earlier. The youthful one holds a gun to the older man, and the older man holds a gun to his young granddaughter. After the old man determines the youth does not have the courage to pull the trigger, he shoots him and leaves him to die. Mortally wounded, the mysterious youth gives the little girl a blue stone and tells her to protect it and keep it secret from her grandfather, William Rockwell, who, according to her, is possessed by demons. Before parting ways, we learn the girl's name is Creo Rockwell, and the youth is a young Henry Osmond, your father who apparently chose to be doing this shit instead of raising you. In a final confrontation, Henry accuses William of being possessed by a stone, and vows to continue trying to stop him before leaping from the train. The old man laughs to himself at the ridiculous notion of being possessed by a stone, while clearly being possessed by some kind of stone.
Now, Satan is a counterfeiter, and on today's...
Jumping through time to different points of the story will happen often, and you'll begin to piece together the long game of cat and mouse that has been playing out between these two. Upon returning back to the present, Richard digs deeper into the house and finds a painting of a ship named Orpheus, and another jump through time is triggered. This time it's a little bit more permanent, as you'll spend the rest of the story exploring this ship and meeting the ghosts of its crew. Much like the game Cryostasis, you will enter moments of their past to fulfill something that has left them stuck there. This can range from finding a lost engagement ring to beating someone at blackjack, Which, I mean, if that's what's keeping you stuck in the mortal realm, you must have led a pretty carefree life. I feel like if I was in this game, I would require a full-length spin-off series to get me off this boat. You know what, I'd be satisfied if you just went back in time and convinced me not to ever go on a boat, because that was clearly my first mistake. I don't like boats! Freeing a soul often leaves you with an item or some means to progress further into the ship. Of course, not all the ghosts are just bummed out about being dead. Some of them, most notably a little girl, are very hostile towards you and the ghostly crew. She shows up every now and then, and even some flashbacks to levitate things and scare people. You begin uncovering more about the ancient origins of the stone, William Rockwell's children and their plans to kill their father, and the truth about your father's motivations.
Is it okay for me to wear my shoes in here?
I don't give a shit.
Okay, so this bit, I get why this can seem kind of convoluted. I mean, so far, I'm not 100% getting the meaning or significance behind a lot of this game, and it's surreal logic, but I'm following the main story beats, and I feel like I understand the core of what the game is saying. There's a lot on the periphery that seems questionable, but I'm blocking it out. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the game as a whole. And having said that, there's a portion of the story that proves to be quite significant that I couldn't even pretend to know what the fuck that was about. So you find this book, and I guess it's like a magic book, and you can use it on these metal plates that have a sun on them. And they take you to a room with this guy in it. And he's just hanging out in this extra dimensional, storefront. Don't worry though, he just possesses an alien power. And also he's blind and created this magic book so he can see the world as the book travels from place to place. And also he wants the astral pieces from the souls you free, and he makes you potions and stuff that I literally never used. And then he shows up near the end and proves to be pretty omnipotent and cosmically central to whatever the fuck is happening, with these red stones that are bad and these blue stones that are good. It's like running through this game is a very simple concept, but it's gilded by a lot of nebulous, can't tell if it was thought out or just winging it ideas. Ultimately, it proves to be a solid mystery that becomes clouded in this stuff near the end. So when the truth is revealed and we conclude the story, nothing really hit the way it should have, because I was still trying to piece together why what's happening is happening and whether or not I cared that it was happening. I was ready to invest. I had my heart out and I was prepared to be affected by this game's conclusion, and I wasn't really. I just kind of felt like I read an Agatha Christie book that someone ripped random pages out of. While there are 4 endings you can unlock, it's not entirely necessary to replay the game several times to see them. Provided you've collected all the souls on the ship, you can just save the game before the final sequence and keep reloading. There aren't a lot of differences between them, but one certainly does come off as being more final than the others. In the end, there are still a fair number of lingering questions, but it was certainly entertaining while it lasted, and oozed this sort of tragic tone due to everyone on board being in a sort of melancholy stupor, what with, being dead and all. I appreciate that tone and appreciate the attempt to build a deep, ancient significance behind the MacGuffin of Echo Knight, these stones, but I ultimately didn't connect with it on a level that would make me want to return to it. Hello?
Everyone died. Even that fool Ed.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
He became crazy.
Oh, man.
He was my friend, Ed.
Oh, bye. Echo Knight was released at a time when first-person games were really ramping up in complexity and popularity, but served as a bit of a step backwards. This is a stripped-down and slightly clumsy first-person experience. For the most part, standard point-and-click puzzle rules apply, but don't get too comfortable in the safety of puzzles. Also, never get comfortable. Nothing's a sure thing. I'm just asking you to be prepared. You see, there's a lot separating Echo Knight from being a run-of-the-mill traditional puzzle adventure game. You will most certainly be collecting items and keys and solving puzzles to make your way further into the ship, as to be expected, but there is also a decent amount of danger found aboard Orpheus. The more dissatisfied ghosts will frequently attack you or leave behind traps for you. There is no combat though, your only means of defense are to quickly locate a light switch upon entering a new area. Light is the only thing that stops them, and predictably they don't let you get away with that too easily further into the game. Some areas have no power, so you have to quickly work out how to get the lights on, while evading harmful spirits. These ghosts can be sort of finally defeated the same way you would any of the passive ghosts. You find out how they got there and give them some sort of token of remembrance that pacifies them. This game had a couple, recognizable, mundane mechanics that slowed me down because I didn't assume they would be in the game. For example, I was trying to fix this fuse box so I could get power to some of the lower areas of the ship, and pressing square brings up my inventory, so I'm smart enough to deduce that I need to use some safety gloves and attach a metal piece to the socket that's missing a fuse. This is standard adventure procedure, but using the gloves on the fuse box doesn't do anything. I'm positive I need to do that. But what you actually need to do is bring up your pause menu that has your status, whatever that means, thanks I suppose? And by accessing your inventory through this menu, you can equip items. So literally twice, you need to go to this menu and equip something, which seems like if I only have to do this twice my whole time playing, why make this a function? Maybe it was left over from another game programmed using this engine? I don't know. Also, you'll notice this game keeps track of the date and time of day, which actually comes into play for a puzzle later on. Another thing that seems really superfluous. It's an enjoyable visual treat that you can see real time passing by when you're out on the deck of the ship, but really you don't need it because it's, for all I know, inconsequential what day it is. Also, I don't know what the deal is with the descriptions to things you examine. At first I thought it was just a thing that was going to happen in the beginning, but they reach a near patronizing level of unhelpfulness. Is there something interesting I could learn by examining this? Oh no, just that it is what it is? Fucking sick, dude. It wasn't all unenjoyable. I mean, the main guts of the game I found enjoyable. It's fun progressing and finding out more about the story and solving mildly easy puzzles, and I'd be lying if I said the game is without tension. There are a couple moments that gave me a fair amount of panic. Two in particular that consist of what I guess would be considered a chase by this game's standards. I feel like it might be more appropriate to call it a shuffle or a shamble. It might just be that I'm easy to unnerve when I know something's after me. What the fuck? Oh shit, I thought there was somebody behind me. Oh. Maybe I'm just scaring myself. I feel like on the surface this is not that spooky of a game. I mean, it's a pretty soft approach to horror, but there is something to be said about the weird tension it builds with its muddy, blocky visuals and low quality sound effects. There's something about it that works sometimes. I don't know why. It's evocative of a time when horror games were really finding their footing, and though it doesn't match some of the titles of the era, it makes a valiant attempt at building a haunted atmosphere. In order to get the fourth ending, you need to free all the ghosts, and that includes the 3 ghosts in the casino. This upset me. I didn't like this. I don't fuck with casino shit. It's like sports but more boring. I mean, this is all luck, so you've just got to make a substantial amount of money betting, and if you don't, load the game and try again, which could take a substantial amount of time. Thankfully, if you manage to collect a decent amount of these claim tickets that are scattered throughout the ship in hard-to-find places, you'll have better odds getting through this segment quickly. Unlucky for me, I learned firsthand about this great thing this game does. It's fantastic. What it does is, say you've gone out of your way to complete this casino bullshit before you talk to this projectionist about the lights in this hallway. Well, guess what? You fucking me. You absolute dumb. You just broke the game. You cannot continue from the spot because these lights will never turn on now, showing you that one of them is a secret button. Even if you try to press it because you can look it up and figure out, hey, that one's the button. No, it's because it hasn't told you that that one is the button, so it doesn't act like a button, and you're just stuck here forever. And you've most likely saved it because you were so proud of defeating the casino shit, so I mean, you better hope you had a save file that you could reload to go talk to this guy and do the fucking casino shit again. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So watch out for that, I guess. Ah! Echo Knight was slammed pretty hard for its graphics, and there is a noticeable, raw, uneven quality to it. It probably didn't help that it was released the same year as games like Half-Life, a game that not only looked great, but challenged a lot of the established conventions of single-player storytelling. In the wake of that, and the progress games have made, Echo Knight seems a bit like a relic. I don't particularly mind the way it looks, but I will be the first to say, it looks like a fragile, slapdash house of cards, and people look like geometric wooden art dolls, and that kind of stretches past my nostalgia for the era, as it's not a good example of it. I may adore what that decade produced, but this is not the gold standard of it. And that didn't stop me from enjoying myself for most of the game, but if you're looking at this and thinking, I can't deal with that, these are cave paintings, why would I subject myself to that? Well, I mean, get over it. You're gonna play it. I got it for you. But yeah, you might find that detrimental to your enjoyment. The same rules apply to the voice acting and the sound and music. Voice acting standing out to me as the most, I want to say, interesting aspect of it. I mean, it's not good, but there's this odd charm to it.
I should never have gotten aboard this ship. I promised her that I would return one day.
Everyone speaks in this sleepy, lethargic tone. I kind of liked it for some reason.
I guess there is no need for a drink when you're dead.
There's something about the sound quality that does it for me. Maybe it's that distinct and noticeable room tone that follows every recording.
I can't leave them behind.
Like they did all these lines over a phone while standing next to an industrial refrigerator. It's not good. This shouldn't be a compliment, but I mean it as one for some reason. It did sort of bother me that a lot of the more important scenes didn't have voiceover. We never really hear from the main characters, and only ghosts seem to have been granted a voice. Maybe there was some kind of subtext to that I'm not bright enough to pick up on, like about how hollow our pursuits of power are, and how meaningful our emotional connection to life is. Nope, that's not what that is. I have a similar appreciation for the sound effects, because they seem to have that same clunky, blown out quality to them. Though there is a fair amount of music in this game, there's not a lot played while you're just wandering around the ship, and I thought that was kind of unfortunate. Because when we do hear music, it's a lot of fun. It carries this lighthearted, spooky, mysterious vibe that I would have liked to hear more of. The lack of music does enhance certain moments, like when the little girl ghost shows up and announces her presence with a giggle. I understand people seem to be made uncomfortable by little girl ghosts, but I don't know, they don't do a whole lot for me. In my experience, there are far worse things out there.
Read about the man who got cut in half.
There's this song that you can play on a record player to lure this little boy ghost to his ghost mom. And I really enjoyed this moment. Because, well, for starters, this song is completely unsettling and weird with these odd synth choir vocals, but it's played over this moment of ghostly reunion that is kind of sweet, kind of sad, kind of outrageous. If you're bold enough to try and complete the casino segment, be prepared to listen to this 1 minute of exasperating sound loop endlessly while a ghost lady tells you that you suck and you lose all your money in a futile pursuit of some perceived good ending. It is my nightmare, but it's also very analogous of my life. So I guess you could say, my life is a living nightmare. This is a decent little adventure game, and one of very few that are exclusive to the PlayStation. It doesn't rise above a lot of games that came out around the same time, but it's worth a play if you're a fan of the genre. It's got flavors and notes of things like Silent Hill and Final Fantasy, and that may just be because it's Japanese, but it's not quite in league with them. It has a somewhat by-the-numbers plot that wraps up well enough, unless you really dissect it, satisfying exploration and puzzles with a few in there that are a little cryptic and confusing, if not because of the puzzle itself, then some of the stranger choices and game mechanics. It's capable of creating tension and atmosphere, not in an Outlast style, crawl through a pile of dead bodies while remembering your history of child abuse for 4 hours kind of way, but in a softer, more subtle, hey, just so you know, there might be a little ghostie in here, and she could I don't know, throw a fucking brick at you kind of way. There's a lot about it that will either hit you as nostalgic and charming or be a complete turnoff. Either is valid. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's your favorite game. That's okay. I get that, sort of. Yes?
Excuse me, are you the one who plays the games that are good?
Sometimes, I suppose.
I have a new game I want you to play. It is a good game.
Okay, well, what game is it? Maybe I can work it
It is
into
a good game. You will play it.
I'm sure I will.
You will play it.
Well, what game is it?
I will tell you. But first, are you enjoying your coffee?
Yeah, how did you know I was...
I added a special ingredient that I think is good.
What? Were you at my house?
I
What
told
the
you this
fuck
would
is-
happen.
what is-
I warned you.
What did
Also,
she...
Knox is
What
not
did she
good.
do?
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ah. I feel empty.